Hey, what's up? TLDR, our wedding, cousin's wedding, had an amazing time. Lovely couple. May God bless them with many more amazing, fun, memorable years. But in terms of stuff I'm doing right now, WACV, the registration. WACV is basically a computer vision conference. It's like an A tier or B tier conference. I guess if A tier is like the number one, then I guess it's a B tier conference with CVP being above it. But with the Gaussian flash paper mostly being done, I basically said, let me just submit to W. I'm just going to go over there. So let me see if I can get some good lighting. With the Gaussian flash paper being basically done and introducing this new benchmark called Gaussian Bench, I thought to myself, why not just submit it to WACV? Best case, I get in. Worst case, I don't get in. I guess since I'm doing round two, I don't even get feedback, but still a good experience. But we'll see. So what happens is that since the registration deadline is today, I just registered, and then by next week I have to submit the paper. With Gaussian Flash, I think it's been a minute since I've really touched the work. I think I've been focused on Metropolis and the Imagine model. But the work still holds up. I was looking at the paper earlier today. I took a break from the wedding to go register. I was looking at the paper. I was like, dang, this is actually a pretty solid piece of work. But yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I do hope I can get in. Like I said, beyond just this work, there is a desire to get into a good PhD program. I think a big part of that is having a strong application. A big part of having a strong application is having a couple of publications under my belt, especially being a first author and maybe even a single author. So stuff like WACV, CVPR later this fall, really do build towards that goal. With Gaussian Flash, I do think it's pretty much done. I do think the future of Gaussian Flash is really just expanding the capabilities. So I know we can do thermodynamics, but if we can handle liquids and liquids, fluids, and other stuff like that under one methodology, I do think that that strengthens the work and really does strengthen the Imagine model, because the whole thing with the Imagine model Starlabs is working on is that we basically use Gaussian Flash as its teacher. But I'm also thinking about if we could use other forms of modalities or other forms of data as a teacher for Gaussian Flash. I do think that's possible. I do think it's a long-term goal. The whole reason I even use Gaussian Flash in the first place, Gaussian Flash, for people who don't know, is basically just a digital atom. It basically combines Gaussian splatting with physics, so it's like material point method and basically Gaussian splatting is basically 3D stickers that can create a scene pretty well, right? And the whole idea of stuff like Gaussian Flash and PhysGauss and all those types of works is to imbue them with physics. Gaussian Flash does it by imbuing them under one belt, to it's able to have one substrate, and it also has stuff like thermodynamics. So the whole idea of stuff like this is that I could work on a model that uses Gaussians as physics and be Gaussians as a substrate. That's the whole reason I built Gaussian Flash. But I also am asking myself, does Gaussian Flash have to be the only teacher to the Imagine model? Because if I could have other forms of data, even using stuff like Genesis and this other stuff out there as a teacher, then wouldn't that be great? Because really, like the core of it is really just a particle substrate. Like, take away the whole Gaussian thing. The reason Gaussians are so useful for this use case is purely because of the particle thing and the photorealistic abilities. But right now we're barely doing anything on the photorealistic attributes right now. So it's really just particle work we're doing. I don't know. I think it's something I've been gone away for a minute. I think as I get back into work this following week, I'll have some thoughts and answers towards that, and hopefully I do find some good revelations, because maybe I could even maybe on one hand I could expand the data we have access to use to teach the model. Maybe I could find ways to improve Gaussian Flash very, very quickly, especially with the increased capabilities of these new coding models. I do think there's more room there. Maybe I just find some really cool stuff for even the architecture of the Imagine model. But TLDR, register for WACV. Next week I just have to get all the paper stuff ready and then submit. Besides that, I have nothing else to say, so have a great day.